rebuilding. The catastrophic failure, a new start, physically, mentally, our careers, our businesses. Step back, first step, next step. The driver in me just wants to get it done tomorrow. We'll do this, do that, let's move this, where are we at with this? You build some confidence, build some self-esteem, start to feel better about yourself. The Silverback Blueprint Podcast, a show for men over 40. We focus on getting stronger, staying motivated, building discipline, creating a community, and becoming truly happy. Hey there, welcome to episode 199 of the Silverback Blueprint Podcast. 3 lies you're telling yourself. So we focus a lot on wanting to change, and when I talk to a lot of clients, I'm really getting to the point where I want to just cut to the chase as much as possible, just to save everybody time, myself time, and really get to the nitty-gritty of things. And I'm finding there's these 3 basic lies that I think we all tend to tell ourselves, especially if we're in a position where we want to make change, when we want to make things just be different in our lives, where we want to be different in our lives. And these are like the 3 lies that we're telling ourselves that come up often in my conversations with clients, and even with myself. I catch myself doing that. And I think it's very interesting, and I think they're there as a way to safeguard a little bit, a bit of a, an insulation to protect ourselves, because, instinctively we want to make sure that we're not doing ourselves harm, and we're in a good place. But I think what we do is we create measures that make us feel that way immediately, but don't actually help us long term. So in fact, they're probably detrimental. They're what's holding us back. So the first one I hear a lot is that I'm happy. And I'm talking about, people that want to be happy, that believe they need to be happy, but they tell themselves they're happy, but fundamentally, deep down, they're not happy. They're not truly happy. And I suffer from it as well too. And I try to catch myself as much as possible. How do we get to the point of what true happiness looks like? And I think true happiness is going to look different for different people, depending on what we really care about, what's important to us. But I also think there's some fundamental similarities. We all want to be loved. We all want to feel loved. We all want to have someone to love. We want to feel safe. We want a home. We want these things, right? We understand that that's some basis for happiness. But I think sometimes we get caught up in how we come to that happiness. Is happiness owning 3 vehicles? Is happiness going away, on vacation 2 or 3 times a year? Is happiness owning a home that's huge? Is it owning a home that's new? And for some people, probably, maybe at certain points it is. But are we really doing these things and chasing these things for the short-term happiness? And then do we often get caught with, buyer's remorse, where we sit there and once we've made that purchase, or once we've booked that trip, or once we've come back from that trip, are we happy when we're the dust settles and we're by ourselves? And I think a lot of us aren't. I think we throw these things at ourselves as distractions. We medicate our feelings with this. The shopping therapy. I saw that online. In fact, I saw it from a credit card company today on Facebook, and I was checking some things, and, it was an email. And my TD reward points email came in, and, it's time for some shopping therapy. Now, obviously, the credit card companies want you to spend because that's where they make their money. But they know the psychology is, it's thrilling. It's exciting to buy stuff. But almost immediately, if it truly isn't something we want or truly need, almost immediately, the happiness is gone. The glow is gone. Buyer's remorse often sets in. We often hear it, in line. People around me or in front of me, the second question I'll ask is, what's the return policy? Now, I'm sure that's important for if it doesn't fit or whatever, but I honestly believe people out there want to know the return policy because they're really hooked on that excitement of the purchase. But then when they get it home and they sit there and look at it and it's the 47th pair of shoes or the 8th watch, it settles in and they realize, you know what? I really don't want this, or I really can't afford this. I bought it because it was Sunday afternoon. I had a rough week. I'm in the mall and I just wanted to feel good about myself. And I think that's where we're trying to figure out, are we truly happy? So I think we lie to ourselves on a big level on these things. We're chasing that happiness, but we're chasing it on the surface, and we're not looking deep enough to find out what fundamentally is going to make us happy. And I think it's because it's a scary look. It's a scary time to look deep into ourselves and find out that we're not really happy. And quite honestly, our actions or inactions are the result of that unhappiness. And I think a lot of us want to avoid that. The truth hurts, but the truth is important. And the more we can learn to embrace the truth and hear the truth and understand it's not always going to be nice, and it's not always going to make us feel good or happy at that moment. If we can learn to embrace the truth, focus on those truth, and then start to create and make some changes, that's where the happiness comes. I've done that with a lot of things in my life, but there's still a couple areas that are hard for me to face. Because I know I'm not where I want to be. I know I'm not where I can be, because I still have to work on some of those self-truths. And when you peel away some of the easy ones and the smaller ones, and you're left with the harder truths, sometimes you can't just always face them all the time. You need to take a breather. You need to step back, recharge, reinforce, and come back in. The second lie I hear a lot is people tend to believe that they still have time. And it's interesting, 2 and 3 kind of relate to each other. But they feel that, I have time to do that. I'm too busy right now. I'll do that later. But the thing is, right, if you're listening to this podcast, you're over 40, you're over 50, we're running out of time. Time is our most precious commodity. Every minute that goes by, we never, ever get back. And the thing is, when we're 20, we can't, 30 and 40 seems so far away. Now that we're in our 40s and 50s, 20 feels like it was yesterday. And then we realize that 10 years from now, we're going to be in another decade of our life. And we now know that 10 years flies by. So we don't have time. What we need to do is maximize that time. We need to prioritize that time. We need to make sure that we're doing things with our time that matter, that move us forward with our purpose and with our goals. We need to really start to value that. We really need to start to look at that commodity and say, listen, this is so precious. I don't want to waste any of it. I want it to be purposeful. So I want to work hard when it's time to work hard. I want to play hard when it's time to play hard. I want to rest when it's time to rest. But I want to take care of myself to be able to do those things at a much higher level of efficiency, of consciousness, and appreciation. That's one of the internal struggles I have a lot lately, is that a lot of things are improving for myself, for my business, for the brand, for the people I'm helping, the people around me. But I always feel like there's more I want to do, and there's always pressure to keep doing it. I feel like I'm running out of time. And then what I have to work on is the balance, because then I try to do so much and get so many things going that I get tired. And once I get tired, that's where I start to lose time, because then I forget things, or I put things off, or I get frustrated and throw my hands up in the air and say, you know what, that's it, I'm out. So what I'm trying to work on is that allocation of time. What am I doing with my time? To be purposeful and mindful, to make sure that how I'm spending my time makes sense on what I'm doing for the work, what I'm doing for business, what I'm doing for family, what I'm doing for self. And understand that if I rob the time from one area because I want to focus more on one other area, I'm cheating myself. And then I weaken the chain. Knowing that I can, the drop of a hat, work 24 hours in a row if I have to, because I've done it for many years over and over again, I have to stop doing that. Because if I do that 24-hour stint on that one thing, then other aspects that require my time suffer. And then it becomes a snowball effect. Sure, I move the needle far on one end, but at the cost of 2 or 3 other areas. It's one of the reasons why I've gotten really back into my fitness as well as the weight loss, is I know that the energy I need to have throughout the day to do things at a higher level and enjoy them more and appreciate them more and be more effective, it's as important that I do my workouts every day and I plan my meals as it is that I actually go to work, do the work, accomplish things. And that's really the big thing in the transformation, is understand that if we don't balance those things, if we don't take care of ourselves, if we don't put ourselves first in a constructive way, meaning we're putting ourselves first and making sure that we don't miss exercising, that we don't skip on our food quality and our food prep and that kind of thing. If we don't do those things, then we're going to pay for it on the other end. And all of a sudden, the things that really matter start to really suffer. But what we're not realizing, the things that really matter are the things that we're not doing, like self-care, like our health and fitness, like our strength and conditioning, like our food intake, what we eat, how we eat. Those are really the fundamental priorities that once we start to take better care of those, we can 10x our other areas. We have more energy. We have a clearer mind. We have a healthier body. We recover better. We rest better. We're better suited to take on the fight. The good fight. A great warrior prepares himself for battle. In the training, in the conditioning, the mind conditioning. That time spent in preparation is so important for execution. Because the time of execution is relatively small and short in comparison to the preparation. It's what we do to prepare our bodies and our minds, and they're so interconnected that one affects the other. Our physical body affects our mental body, and our mental body affects our physical body. And we have to stop forgoing one for the sake of the other. When we let our bodies go physically, our mind starts to pay for it. We start dealing with energy, depression, mindset issues. Because our tool, our mechanism, our body, the motor, the brain, the computer is all suffering. It's all running at less than optimal capacity. It's like when your vehicle needs a tune-up. Yes, it still works, but not well. It's burning up more fuel. It has less performance, handles differently. So we need a tune-up. So we need to make sure that we're spending that time to keep our body in tune. We have less time. Stop thinking that we have time. We have less and less of it every second of every day. And the third one, and the third lie that we tell ourselves is that we're too old. And I think that's easy to do at first because we probably feel old, because we're tired, because we're broken physically. And then because of that, mentally, we feel like we can't do these things. Because in the back of our mind, subconscious, we know that we're not in a state that we can do the things that we want to do. I'm coming up on 100 pounds of weight loss. And people, respond in all kinds of different ways. I'm helping a lot more people. People are coming to see me. That's great. We're helping them with our programs. It's phenomenal. I love it. It's exciting because I know what it's going to do for them. But then I have people saying, oh yeah, but that's easy for you. No, it's not. Or they're saying that, I wish I could do it, but I can't. But it's a lie they're telling themselves. Because you can do it. The body is an amazing thing. At any age, we can get stronger. We can get fitter. We can get leaner. We can increase cardio capacity, strength capacity at any age. We just have to start. But we tell ourselves that lie to give ourselves that out. Oh, I'm too old to do that. I could never do that. I had someone the other day, I could never have a diet without, or without fruit. Well, first off, the fruit isn't the problem in your diet. It's the one thing you're thinking you'd have to give up. It's the other things that you're eating in your diet. The over amount of calories, the wrong calories. Some people, the lack of calories. But they see my food and what I'm doing with the weight loss, and my goal is a lot bigger and in a shorter amount of time, so I am eating much tighter. So yeah, you don't see a lot of fruit and a lot of other things like that. But listen, at the end of the day, I'm working to lose 140 pounds in 11 months. That's not the average weight loss goal for most people. If someone has 35 pounds to lose, and we want to put them on a 4-month or a 6-month plan to do that, they don't have to eat as Spartan as I'm eating, for sure. But they still have to change the way they eat. But it doesn't matter what the age is. It's just another lie that we're telling ourselves. We're seeing people live longer than ever before. We're seeing people doing amazing things at different age, at higher ages. Because those people have realized that their happiness is tied into them being able to pursue the things that make them happy. So if that's traveling and you want to travel, then put yourself in a position where you are physically and mentally stronger so you can truly enjoy that trip so you can do the tours and the excursions and be out there. Don't be where, yes, you can sit there, but you can't get off the bus because you're too tired or too weak to go up the stairs. Don't be that. You're only too old if you let yourself be old. I see people out there that are 35 and 40 years old that have let themselves become old because they stopped doing things that need to get done, the physicality, the mental part. Or they're abusing their body with food, with drugs, with alcohol. That wears the body down. Too much stress, not enough healthy, fresh air, not enough balance, not enough activity, not enough mindset, not enough positivity. Of course, that's going to make you feel old. But again, it's a lie that people are telling themselves to justify where they're at so they don't feel they have to make changes or they have to make the sacrifices. Because that's what it is, guys. We're going to have to start to sacrifice. We've been living too good for too long, and we're paying the price for it. We need to be a little more Spartan. We need to work a little harder physically. We need to take the time with our minds and read and journal and put ourselves in a positive mindset. There's a skill to that, but it's a skill that can be learned, and a skill that can be learned rather easily. The physical meets the mind meets the physical. The 3 lies, guys. I'm happy, I have time, and I'm too old. If you find you've been telling yourselves those lies, stop immediately. No longer accept that as your truth. Because whatever you accept as your truth is going to be the truth for you. Guys, that's all I have to say on that for now. Head on over to iTunes. Leave us a positive review. A 5-star rating would be fantastic. Head on over to ironhosgear.com to get your No More 3 Lies hoodie. And as always, guys, work hard, motherfuckers, and I'll talk to you guys later.